All right, Lab Coat Agents, let's do a recap of LCA1 in Detroit that we just wrapped up, what, 4 days ago? And I'm excited, guys. I've got Gabe Cordova from Firepoint and Jeff Fitzer from USA Mortgage and Lab Coat Agents, of course. He runs our podcast. But guys, welcome. Let's get right into it, man. What I'm going to go with Gabe first. Gabe, what stood out for you for this LCA1 in Detroit?
Man, there are a few things. So honestly, for those of you that weren't there, what I really loved, and I don't know whose idea this was, so giving somebody major props. In the afternoon, we did this like working lunch or networking lunch, or whatever you guys called it. And it was really cool because a lot of the, I don't know if all the speakers or most of the speakers, we had designated tables. And we had 15 minutes, I think, at each table. And there were some questions in the middle that the attendees were all there, and there's one speaker at a table. And they would draw out a question and ask. And so we spent, what, an hour doing that, a little over an hour, because we'd change tables, so it was always different people that we're speaking with. And I had the same question, I think, 3 of the 4 tables.
What's the question?
The one that I got over and over is just how do you stay relevant with a changing market, and I think with an emphasis on iBuyers, right? Because we're seeing more and more from whether it was Zillow or just the We Buy Ugly Houses. I mean, KW, I think, is launching a whole iBuyer program or helping agents, and we're just seeing it more and more. And what stood out to me, and I want to say this without sounding like an asshole, so that's not my intent.
Just go ahead and sound like an ass. It's okay.
Is what stood out to me was I maybe ignorant is the word, but how uneducated I think our industry is right now about what's going on with iBuyers, how relevant it really is. People feel that they're not being affected by it. And I hate to break it to them. I'm like, you guys are wrong, right? Like you go state to state, city to city, whether it's a big city or it's Boise, like here, there are a lot of people that are reaching out and looking for those iBuyer or quick cash buys. And what stood out, and I'll get to my point, I promise, was they're like, well, but it's not happening here because we're in a strong market, right? There's no NODs, which not true also. But there's no foreclosure short sale, so we're not seeing the need for iBuyers. And whoa, guys, you couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, you guys know I travel nonstop. You know, and we're talking to teams, and every city, whether it's multiple offers or not, I mean, I'm talking San Diego, Portland, Denver, some of the strongest markets in the country, they are seeing when they started adding an iBuyer or quick cash offer to their listing options, they started getting more appointments. It's around 20 to 30% of sellers out there right now would love to see, hey, what is an all cash close in 7-day offer look like? And it's not, and here's where I think agents are going wrong. They think it's because they're distressed. They need to sell. That's not it, guys. There are just people out there that don't want freaking strangers coming through their homes. And that number is increasing. I don't want unknown agents, home buyers, lookers, whoever coming through my home. Also, and this is what finally I think got it to resonate, is, all right, you're saying it's not relevant here, but how many of your buyers right now are competing? And they're all like, well, most of them. Okay, so if they're competing, and they have a home to sell, are they writing cash offers or contingent offers? They're like, yeah. How many of them are getting accepted? Well, almost none. So don't you think if you were able to offer into your portfolio of listing options a buyout cash offer that might be less than full market value, but now they know what they're going to sell for, that it's going to close in 7 days, non-refundable earnest money to them, that they can now make non-contingent offers? Is that not in their best interest? And don't you think they'd be interested? And all of a sudden light bulbs are going off. Right? iBuyer is not just for distressed property people who are trying to sell quick or behind in their payments or whatever. It is the gambit from security reasons to I just want to know how much money I have so I can go buy my next property contingent free, to whatever it is, guys. There's that we need to start figuring out how to stay relevant. And I think adding an iBuyer program or option to your listing presentation is critical. Not maybe today 100%, but I really think in the next 12 months, if you don't start having more options in your listing presentation, you're going to start missing out 30, maybe 40% of the listing opportunities because you just don't have this option available.
That's true. Jeff, anything you want to add to that?
No, but I have my own takeaways.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got some to add on that portion before I ask you. On the iBuyer thing, I also, when I sat down with everybody, we did we did have similar questions actually, Gabe. The people were concerned about the iBuyer, and what I did is I gave them some solutions as well. Besides saying it is important, I said, look, you need to have a program that really addresses that. And the way that we're doing it is by really taking on what these bigger companies are doing and saying practically the same thing, but we're doing it in a niche area, right? We can cover an area. And so I said, look, I've identified the investors that we work with that will be able to buy anything in really in 10 days or less. We just did.
That's the magic number, 10 days or less.
10 days or less. And we can give them a really competitive offer, but it's most of the time, it's going to be under market value, right? And as long as we're upfront about it and make the ad and the call to action sound super sexy, right? Meaning, hey, look, this is what we offer. We can close in 10 days or less. Find out what your home is worth. Find out what the offer we can give you, all cash. We just closed one in 7 days, all cash. And dude, that's amazing. Now they're turning around and actually flipping it and making $400,000 on it, which is insane.
Well, and what you said, most people aren't thinking. So you're right on. And I went deeper with him too. And so I just asked him around the table, like, who here has a couple $1 million in their bank account to do this cash offer? Of course, nobody raises their hand, and that's okay. Then I asked the next question. How many of you have those investors that are in your database, that are inside Firepoint or whatever you're using right now, that are tagged investor, that say, hey, Tristan, if you ever come across a great deal, somebody wants to sell under market value, let me know. And everybody's like, oh yeah, I've got a dozen of those.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, you don't have to use your money, right? OPM, other people's money. We all have those investors that say, hey, if you come across a deal, let me know. And you're 100% right. You go on these, you just have it as part of your marketing message. Are you curious to sell your home for cash 7 to 10 days? Are you curious value? Reach out to us. When you meet with them, hey, here is you want to know what you're going to get, close in 7 to 10 days, cash, no contingencies price. Hey, if you don't need to move that quick, well, here's what we think we can get you on the open market. If we really put our marketing plan to work with you, it could be anywhere from 10 to 20% more. What works best for you and your family? And then just shut up. Right? But you just need it. The point is that I think people are missing and being relevant is by just not having the option in your marketing message, you're missing out on 20 to 30% of the listing opportunities. So if you're sitting there going, oh, Gabe, you know what? Forget that. I'm closing 80, 90% of the appointments I go on. That's not my point. My point is that you're not even knowing about the appointments because you don't have this in your marketing message. And all you have to do is identify those investors in your CRM and just talk to them ahead of time, find out who's interested in what areas, especially like where you're at, Tristan. Some certain investors only want to buy in certain areas, but then so when you go on that appointment, if they're like, you know what, I am interested in this 7 day offer, you as an agent probably know what it is. Perfect, let me throw it out to my investment team to see if somebody will close on this in the next 7 to 10 days. I'll have an answer for you tomorrow.
Yeah, easy, dude.
It's easy, and it's not your money, right?
And I think you also have to be okay with, in some cases, like we've been okay with letting go of the deal and not getting anything on the front end on the purchase because the investor wants to make their money on the front end. The seller needs to sell at a certain amount. And I'm okay making them come together as long as I get the sale on the flip side. Yeah.
So a lot of teams do it different. So if the investor is going to buy it and hold it, maybe like for an Airbnb rental, whatever it is, it's usually 2 points. It's a quick close. I didn't put a ton of time on a listing appointment. So it's like 2%. I'm happy with it. And a lot of times, again, they're doing this so they can buy contingent free and know exactly how much money they're in, rent back for a month, and be comfortable, right? Don't we want that for our clients? It's less stressful for everybody.
Dude,
so you are making it, but if they're going to flip it, no points, but you get the listing, right? So just work that out with your investment team. Guys, it's the best of both worlds. You make the seller happy, who becomes your buyer, who's less stressed because they know how much money's in their pocket. You're getting the listing working with an investor instead of the typical home seller. And it's quick transactions. And it's not your money, right? You're working with an investor's money until you build up enough if you want to do it yourself. If you haven't thought about this, you need to think about it. And in fact, I think we're gonna have another webinar coming up that we're gonna be hosting. If you want to be invited to that, throw your name and email address in the chat or something like that. But we've got a couple of guys that are doing this and helping agents implement it in other cities. So we'll be doing that, I think, next month. So if you want me to invite you to that, let me know. But it's super easy to do, and it's going to keep you relevant. So I'll shut up.
Dude, so I did a quick poll to see of the people listening, how many have an iBuyer program? 83% of them said they don't. 17% of them said they did. So
80-20 rule, almost exact.
dude, that's a big number that said no. So it's good that the topic comes up. Jeff, what stood out for you off of this week's event? I felt like it was last week.
I know, it's so long ago, right?
I agree with Gabe, first of all, and let me give props to Ann Baldwin. That was her idea, her execution on the launch. Awesome. And that kind of leads into what Lab Coat events are all about, whereas not only when you come, and Jessica Morrison, who's on this watching right now, can attest to this, she showed up early. We had a pre-night happy hour, and we're all there. We all just want to share ideas and talk and collaborate. And that's the beauty of this event versus, I think, so many other industry events where the speakers are kind of untouchable. They fly in, they fly out. And we not only do a pre-night, we do a lunch where we allow you to ask us questions and we can just dive deep with you individually. But then we also do a happy hour the night of the event. And so to me, I think one of the best things about these events, and just in general, also throughout the day, like the Gabe Cordova's, he's got a table and he's accessible the entire day. So he not just on stage and then he goes and hides in his room. He's there and he's accessible, and all of us are. We're all walking around the entire day. People are coming up to us and talking to us. To me, that's super valuable at any event.
And just from being one of the attendees there, guys, if you didn't make it and it comes to your area, what Jeff and Tristan and these guys, they put together insane speaker. That lineup was incredible.
It was one theme that I saw was across the board. Travis brought it up a little bit. Carrie brought it up for her whole presentation. Jeff did a great job on his presentation. And then we touched on some numbers with the new Facebook numbers that came out last week. And that was on video. How important video is on social, how important it is online, and really how important it is to communicate through video. We showed some amazing numbers and stats, which just were, to me, were mind-boggling. It's like, really, it's that important? That's crazy, man. So that was a beautiful thing that we talked about. People just simply picking up their phone and using it as the device to be able to record, right? Simple.
Yep.
Right. What do you think the biggest fear of that is, guys?
Well, you heard me say it in my presentation, and I speak directly to women when I'm talking about video, saying, listen, get authentic. And by authentic, I mean shoot some video without your makeup face on, without your hair done. Get uncomfortable, because that's the real you, and you will resonate more with your audience. They'll get to understand and know you better if you have the cojones to do that.
Well, and it's just be real, right? You're gonna meet them at some point, and when you only shoot your video in front of your perfect light and your perfect this, and everything's just, I mean, you're not relatable, right? And then when you're on the other end of that, you just feel like you're being sold to. Like, you can see when something's not real. You can see it's an incredible picture or video, but you can see that there's a million filters used. Like, it's not authentic. Like, and this is something that I talk about too. Is like, at that point, when you go through that much work, you're making that about you, not them, right? It's their freaking journey. Focus on their journey. Be authentic and just talk to them. It's their journey. We all got into this business, right? All of us agents, we didn't get in to be hardcore salespeople. We got in to provide service and help people out. But I think too easily we're getting caught up in having to have this fake brand that we're perfect and this is all going on, and we're all flawed, right? And it's okay on your video to just be yourself. And if in 30 seconds in you stumble or say something wrong, it's okay. Like, oh, wait, that's just be real, right? You're so much more relatable, and that's the person that they're going to reply to, respond to, and work with. But yeah, we try to make it too perfect, and yeah, just be yourself.
Yeah, that transitions perfectly into what Cherie Benjamin talked about. And while we were at the event, the night before, we had found out that a friend of ours, our industry, had committed suicide, and it really took a toll on a lot of us. And so Cherie, being one of them, because she coached him, she really felt it pretty strongly. And you could see when she was speaking, she really connected well with the audience. But she brought up the fact that we really need to be really true to ourselves and not fall into this whole world that we see a lot of agents in, and that's living a world of just non-authenticity. and being okay to show people that we struggle on a daily, weekly, yearly basis, and being open about it because other people can relate, and then in a sense feel like, you know what, it's okay because Jeff is struggling, or Gabe, Gabe had a bad day, and you normalize it for people, and because they look up to us and they want to know that it's okay. And I thought that was beautiful how she meshed that into that whole world. And she did an amazing job, right, guys?
Yes, another one of the incredible speakers there. She's always great.
She was like, made me want to jump out of my seat and just be like, yeah. I felt like I was at a motivational event when she was speaking. But Tristan, what you said is so right. And getting, so when you have that thought, right? When you have a thought about what to say, like, ooh, that's going to be really good content. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to write it down and I'll get to it later. And you never get to it later. And that's kind of the whole, that's the whole thing about doing it in an authentic way. Like if you feel it in the moment, you're going to be the most passionate about it. It's top of mind in your mind, and who cares what you look like? Just do it. Just put it out there, because that is exactly what everybody wants to see. And that is 100% what they're going to resonate with. And so just do it. That's
true. And you know what? Reality is that we all have challenges with doing video at some point or another. Sometimes we delay it. Sometimes we go right into it. We second guess sometimes, and it's okay, right? We all have challenges.
You know, what's funny about, just like, to be really kind of sat back, there are two big things where as agents and as an industry, we're failing, right? And I think we're not utilizing video enough. We're not utilizing it in an authentic way is one. And the fear that for a group of people who love to talk, of calling, picking up this phone, right? When people would really open up and be honest and talk about how little that they're actually proactively reaching out, how they're afraid to call after certain periods. In fact, I shared your story, well, not your story, your agent story, Tristan, that you guys posted a video. The guy got to leave at 11 o'clock at night or 11:30 and called, and people were mortified. But it's but people, when they're thinking real estate and they're like, it's just crazy, just the fear people have of this, and then even just the video not being perfect. That was something we heard throughout the day. And it's crazy because agents are kind of known as these like very outgoing, talkative like people, but yet we have these odd fears of being ourselves on video or talking on the phone. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Jeff, what's one solution for people that really have a challenge going into video, whether it's just posting video on social media or doing video that they can send out by text to their clients on BombBomb or email? What are some suggestions you can add?
Well, I think what you need to do is, first of all, get over the mindset that people don't care what you have to say, especially when it comes to social media, because it's so non-invasive. That's the beauty of social media. It doesn't really matter if they care or not, because like one of the things I say is, my shitty video will outperform your absent video all day long. And if you think like that, like, you're just going to continue to just vomit and put it out, and don't worry about it, because you should be posting every single day. You should be in their face all the time, because guess what? If they don't want to see it, if they don't want to listen to it, if they don't want to watch, they'll just scroll past you. Yep. But you'd rather be seen than not seen. At least it gives you a fighting chance. Yep. But I think one of the easiest ways to integrate video into the real estate business is to use a service like BombBomb, because you're already sending emails with updates throughout the process. So why not? And we can all agree here, like, if I'm explaining to someone in the mortgage world, like, hey, this is what's going on here, and this is why the payment is what it is, and blah, blah, blah. It's much more difficult to type it in this long paragraph and actually they understand it, because things can get misconstrued. So if you just utilize something like BombBomb and you explain it through a video, which is integrated into your email, so it's super easy, even for the non-techie people, and then you just add it to your email with the text that you were going to type below, that's so easy, because it's just you talking to the consumer, and the consumer is going to get to know you more. They're going to like you more. If you're competing with another agent, they're going to be able to resonate with you over the other guy. So to me, it's absolutely critical. And so whether or not you're going to do Noel Nielsen, super creative, crazy, entertaining stuff, you don't have to. Just use it to replace all that text that nobody wants to see anyway.
And BombBomb's easy. I mean, we built that right into our system, guys. It has to be easy. BombBomb's one of the easiest, but just use it. And it was absolutely right. A crappy, shitty video is better than no video, right? And when you're worried, well, what am I going to say that appeals to everybody? Get over it. You're never going to figure out something that appeals to everybody. But whenever you have a message, it's going to resonate with someone, right? And you don't always have to go for the masses, right? If you just have something to say, share it. And you know what? People are going to see you. Even if they don't watch it, at least they're seeing you. You're top of mind. And when something resonates, they're going to stop. And I don't know if it was one of you two. I think one of the keys that people have got to do, if they're not though, is subtitle those things. Because too often we're in meetings or we're doing something and we're scrolling and we can't literally listen to it. But if they catch the words on there, that's going to make them stop, right? They can still watch it without audio and get those stops. That's another just kind of taking it a step deeper. And it's really easy to do. There's services out there that do it for you. It's super easy. But I think the getting over it aspect just takes doing it. It's like anything else, right? It's just the first jump off of a diving board or cliff, whatever it is always the hardest one. Then it gets easier. It's just doing it and just getting an easy service to make it work. Just do it. And if you're not going to, man, I'm going to be the jerk of this webinar. Like, if you really can't get over your fear of talking and you're not going to get comfortable on video, man, you're going to have a hard time competing in the coming years. Just a really, really hard time competing.
You know, I'm going to add one thing. Jeff, the weed whacker, is gone, so I could talk now. On what Gabe said, it reminded me, I had to pull the book out. It's Seth Godin's This is Marketing. There was one thing that I highlighted there that stood out amongst a lot of other things. It says your work is not for everyone. And if we internalize that and remember that continually, we can feel a lot more comfortable. Like, look, I'm not looking to connect with absolutely everyone when I do these videos, right? I'm looking to connect with the people that relate to what I'm talking about. That's it. Everybody else can criticize me, can do whatever they want, can say mean stuff, and not.
And they don't, though, right? Like, everybody has that fear, but it's not really something
they do. But I mean, to really internalize the thought that your work isn't for everyone, you start realizing that, you know, it's okay. I'm not trying to impress Jeff. I'm only trying to impress Gabe, right? So Gabe wins, Jeff.
And the truth is the ones who do criticize you are the ones who are the most threatened. And when you get criticism, it's when you know you've made it. And that's critical. So you have to overcome that, because it's going to come. Because when you're crushing it, when you're doing well, you're going to take criticism. And that's when you can be like, boom.
Oh my gosh. You know, I love putting music and videos into my talks. So now I need to work in haters gonna hate into one of my things. Because you're right, they're going to. But in the few times that you've seen like somebody have like a nasty comment when people do, especially something where they intended something well, you see what happens with the other comments, like, and how it rallies people. So you almost kind of want somebody to be a little off, because then all of a sudden now everybody else is like, no, that was awesome. That was amazing. Thanks for doing that. Like, all of a sudden it almost fuels it. It's like, so that one, like, you know, hater almost like did you a favor fueling all the other comments and stuff. But
you're right.
Do
like, I love that you added Taylor Swift to Calm Down. That was my favorite. I was like, oh, Gabe had to add that in there. Gabe, can you, I don't know if you have access to your computer, do you, or no, right now?
I do, yeah.
Can you show us how simple it is for people to use BombBomb into what you created there on FirePoint? Because I think it just simplifies the process for us.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, and whenever possible, I think you want to do this in your CRM. Let me see if I can share here.
Hey, and while you're sharing that real quick too, on the transcription piece you were talking about, rev.com, rev.com is one of the best. Tristan and I both use it. It's super simple to use and relatively inexpensive.
Sweet.
Thanks,
Sweet. Yeah, so if I want to video email this lead, for example, literally just click on the email. And you can do this with or without BombBomb. Jeff's 100% right. I love how easy BombBomb is. So we literally just have the button here. So let's say it's a new lead, or they reached out and asked a question. Just by clicking that button, I literally just hit this. Hey, Fred, Gabe Cordova here, Core Group. Saw you inquired on 123 Main Street. I got some great information on it. I also included a link down below to all the details. My phone number is down below. Give me a call so we can discuss all the interesting things about this property. Hope to hear from you soon. Thanks. Literally just click it, name it, hit add, and it throws it right into the video. And instead of having this weird freeze frame, it's awesome. It does this like this GIF. So it's that easy. And if I wanted to add text in there. I can literally just start typing whatever I want. I can insert a link to the property listing, whatever you guys want, but just make it easy so that it goes in and use it. But it just has to be easy, whether it's video email or video text. Just do it. Just find something easy. And if you're finding it too hard, you have the wrong technology. And that's not a FirePoint plug. That's just any technology plug. But get it in your system so that you're not going multiple places, that you're just going in one place. And then the same thing for video text, guys, is also fantastic. So same thing if you wanted to video text somebody, you can just come in and insert the video right into a text and hit send.
Can I just debunk a myth right now, guys?
Sure.
And it's a common one that I don't know who started this, but the best CRM is the one you use. That's trash. That's garbage. Can you guys just stop using that, please? Because it's not. It just means that you don't know enough about CRMs to pick the right one. That's all. And that's why we're here to help you. So one of the best CRMs out there is FirePoint because it has the things that we need as agents, and that's video email, video text. It has autoresponders. Those are the things that we look for CRMs to qualify as good CRMs, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And for video text, and again, just ask the questions. If it's not FirePoint, ask the questions, right? If you're doing videos too, and let's be honest, sometimes it can be, man, I don't have the time to put together a 18-month email campaign that has videos in all of them, or to record videos every time. Build a campaign. So with us, we've made it to where you can just do touching point videos and then just embed them ahead of time. So we can have a video email campaign that goes out for as long as you want to build it, that has built-in text videos or email. Just make sure, guys, that you're asking the right questions. What works in your business? And this actually came up as well. I talked about a little bit of LCA1 on that networking lunch. This gal that was at LCA Live happened to be at one of my tables, and she grabbed me and she said, man, you know, I really want FirePoint, but you know, it's a couple $100 more than the one that I ended up going with. I think it was $200 more. And she's like, but I'm really missing, she was actually honing in on the fact she was missing out on the use of video from LCA1. And she's like, but so I just finally just stopped her. I said, what is your price point? And she's like, well, my average price right now is right around that $250 to $300. I said, all right, so $250, your commission's $7,000, right? So you're telling me that you're missing things to convert and do what you need for $200 a month. That's $1,400 a year. So if you had the tools and the right CRM, so it's kind of your point, Tristan, it's not the one that you use. It also needs to have the right tools. As agents, we're like, holy crap, I'll have a $600, $700, $800 car payment, but I'm afraid to spend a few $100s a month on a CRM or spend an extra $200 to get what I need, even though you know it's going to convert for you. So it's like, wait a second, if it helps you sell one more house every 3 years, it more than pays for it. But you know it's going to be more than that, right? So if spending $200 more a month got you one more deal a quarter, that's $7,000 a quarter. That's $28,000 a year that you're foregoing to save a couple $100. So just look into it. Just get the one that works for you, but make sure it has the tools and that you can grow into it. And again, if it's not FirePoint, that's fine, but just make sure it has the tools and grow into it and then use them.
Are you sure you're okay with it not being?
Well, I mean, I want them to come to FirePoint, but I'm not going to come out here and pitch this. Like, I want to share what we learned. Just get one, because too many people also just don't have one, right? So, but yes, we'd love an opportunity.
All right, Jeff, what else did we miss, man? I know we had Travis Tom talk about Facebook lead ads, and integration, what's next. We also had
Mike and Long talked about growing and scaling a massive team.
Yeah, talk about another couple studs that were, oh my gosh.
That was great. That was great. You're right. They really brought a new depth to what we normally talk about, and that's really scaling a team and scaling a brokerage. So that was beautiful. Talking to them after as well. Yeah. Really bright guys there.
You know what else I thought was really cool about scaling that I don't know if one of you guys want to talk about, that I found fascinating and that I've never really done, but I think people need to. And she's from, I think, Miami or Fort Lauderdale. Saria. Like what she's been able to do. And I always had a fear of this. I'm just going to be honest myself, but I know it's the right thing to do. But growing and scaling the showing agent model, right? Your highest and best use, like as an agent, we have a hard time checking our ego and letting go. Sometimes nobody's going to do it as good as me. Like nobody's going to take care of my clients on showings like I will. And that's not, she was 100% right. She was, and if I screw up what you said, I apologize now, but I'm going to try and paraphrase. But she's like, my highest and best use for my clients isn't walking through the house like, this is the kitchen, this is the bathroom. It's, she's great on the phone, setting the appointment, setting expectations, and then when they find the right home, negotiating not just necessarily the right price, but the terms, everything that works for them, and making sure that the escrow goes smooth versus being out in a car. And then also realizing you can't be available between 5 and 8 p.m. after work for everybody. So she has a team of people to make sure that her team is working on her client's schedule, looking at homes versus the other way around, because it is competitive. And I don't think enough people are doing that to really grow and scale their business. So I thought she was phenomenal. I think that's an area where agents have a fear of letting go and not allowing themselves to grow and scale because of the fear that nobody can do it as good as them.
You're right, man. She also has a class for lab coat agents coming up on buyers. So
Oh, she does have a class? When is that?
Yeah, that should be coming out next month too.
Is that on the showing agent model?
That is. It's on the whole process on buyers agents, the whole process.
I want a front row seat to that one. She was awesome. I thought that was incredible and something so easy to implement and scale your team.
So Tristan, let me just recap this for everybody listening. So you come to an event, you're going to get, we talked about who's all going to be there, and it's going to be like a lot of tactical things for your business. So from Tristan and Nick to the people like Saria talking about buyers to Gabe talking about, how to scale your business and how to use the technology in your business. You're going to always have a social media and video group of speakers, which is really going to hone in on what you should do there. You're always going to have local panelists, which we didn't even talk about, which crushed it at the very end of the day. And they're sharing what's working in their business and your market. And then we even have people like Cherie who are just going to stand up there on stage and get you so fired up, you're going to jump out of your seat. So it's literally, it's not just like your typical real estate event, man. It encompasses a lot of stuff. And by the way, $50.
That's nuts. That was when I found out what the ticket price was. I was like, how are there not 1,000 people here? That was crazy.
Yep.
Well, dude, you have to also remember, we're just starting off too. So this is only.
And that included lunch and lunch. Not even just all the content. Like, come on.
This is only the third LCA1 we've ever done, right?
Yeah.
And so every time we're doing it now, we're having an easier time filling the room because word's getting out that
So can I put you on the spot? Tristan, when's the next one?
Phoenix.
Second week of December.
No.
In Phoenix.
First week.
No, if we do first week, we can't get Pablo there and we can't get Gabe there. So
okay.
Second one.
We'll work on that. So we're working on Phoenix right now as we speak. That's going to be early December. Then we're looking at Dallas in mid to early February. And then we're looking at Virginia Beach, Barrystown,
Nice.
probably in the spring. Then you've got LCA Live in LA in June. And then what are we looking at? What other cities we're talking about? We're talking about Nashville. We're talking about Southeast Florida.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Minneapolis. Those are probably the 2020s. So for those of you who are going to comment on this video, ask for your city. We're already looking at 2021.
Portland. Don't forget
Portland. Sweet.
Yeah, we have a great setup there of amazing people.
Love it, man. It was great. I mean, honestly, it was just great. And you don't see lineups like that for $50. I mean, I'm on the road I just got back last night. I'm on the road, I think, for 12 days. I had 4 different events. LCA Live was in the middle of it, but none of them were $50. None of them. And that lineup was just insane.
Yep.
Yeah, man, that's what we were trying to do. It goes back to when I created this whole thing. I always try to give back to as many people as possible. And if we keep this affordable for most people,
yeah.
Really, we all benefit. We raise the standard. Right?
Heck
So
yeah.
anything you guys want to add? Anything I missed? Anything else that stood out to you? Oh, wait, one thing did stand out to me. I forget. Although the event was amazing and I love Detroit, this place was in Novi.
No.
When I Googled Novi, the second thing that popped up on the Urban Dictionary was that it was the most boring town in the United States.
What?
I thought that was hilarious.
I didn't see any of it. We got in kind of late. Our luggage got lost. We had to go back to the airport and come back. And then we spent all day at the LCA event. I have to share a funny story with you guys after this. But anyway, it was interesting.
A non-live story. I love it.
Non-live story. I mean, it happened there, but it was interesting. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you being on. Gabe,
Awesome.
thank you.
Hey, I was going to throw in a link real quick. We do have LCA. We have a special deal for anybody that hits your webinars that are part of LCA. If you guys are wanting to check out a CRM that has video, all that stuff in there, we would love the opportunity to show it to you at least. Firepoint.net/LCA. Use that link because we'll waive all the setup fees and you get the first month for $1, guys. So it's awesome. And if you are wanting to do Facebook remarketing, retargeting, we also have an awesome integration and deal with Ylopo. So that's another one. I'm going to type it in here. If you haven't checked out them for retargeting and remarketing, check out Ylopo. They work great together. I know you use them, Tristan. So
yeah, definitely.
It's a great time to implement too, where we're not as busy to get your systems and everything in place, so that you just hit the ground running when things take off in the spring again.
Gabe, I was posting up the link. Did you already post that?
I threw one in there in the chat.
Okay, I put it up on Facebook, but
okay, perfect.
Did you mention that they get $300 in PPC credit?
Oh, is that? I don't know if that's what they're doing. Then yeah, I did not mention that. So you probably have the most recent deal. You and Jacob always take care of that. So
yeah, we got that, man. So I posted that up. I'm gonna take a pic of that.
That's a, what did you say? It's a $300 discount?
$300 PPC credits.
No, I think we waive all the setup fees and everything, so they literally get in for really just about nothing. And I guess we're doing a PPC credit.
I'll take a picture of the damn thing. Hold on.
Sweet. And then Tristan, literally the guy I was talking about that called, it was one of our PPC leads that registered, and at 11:30 at night, his agent called at 11:30 at night because he knew nobody else would, and got the deal. Was it the next day? Cash offer, $700,000, closed in 20 days, whatever it was, $700,000.
Came in at night. Lead comes in at night, which was a story we told. Came in at night, and it came into one of my agents. My agent got it at 11:30 p.m. and he's like, I'm texting. So he texted. They connected by text. She identified 2 properties at night that they wanted to see the next day. He met her without pre-qualifying her or anything. Met her at the property, and then she says, I like this one. Let's put in an offer. He's like, okay. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm all cash, by the way. And he's like, oh, okay. A 15-day close, 20 days later, we close all together from inception to close. That's pretty good.
And then did you say she also sent him a referral already, too?
She gave us a referral for another person to purchase, also cash, up to $700,000.
Just crazy.
It's pretty crazy. So,
crazy. Love it, love it, love it. Awesome, guys. Good stuff. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Gabe.
Likewise.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
Take care. See you guys. Bye.